As the global water crisis intensifies, China has put forward a solution unlike any the world has ever seen: building colossal artificial rivers. The announcement sent shockwaves across the globe, not just because of its jaw-dropping scale, but also due to the devastating environmental consequences it could unleash. With 20% of the world's population but only around 7% of its freshwater resources, China faces a looming water crisis. Experts caution that if consumption patterns remain unchanged, the country could experience a critical water shortfall by 2030. As a matter of fact, some regions already have water resources as scarce as those in the Middle East. This growing scarcity could profoundly impact the world's second-largest economy. But you won't expect China to just be sitting down and waiting for this to happen. Their response is dubbed as the South-North Water Diversion Project. These gargantuan megastructures stand as a testament to China's determination to tackle its pressing water scarcity challenges head-on. With an astounding estimated cost of $62 billion, over twice that of the controversial Three Gorges Dam, which we've already covered before, this venture stands as one of the most daring and ambitious infrastructure projects ever attempted. President Xi Jinping has emphasized that the lifeblood of food production in China lies within the nation's water conservancy systems, and this massive project is pivotal for safeguarding China's food security. The infrastructure is structured around three main routes: the eastern, central, and western. The two primary routes are now complete, but the western route has stirred intense debate. Environmentalists and scientists have voiced deep social and ecological concerns, leading to significant delays. Moreover, the project has raised alarm in neighboring countries, especially India, where concerns loom over potential water shortages if the Brahmaputra River is diverted. This raises a crucial question. Is the project genuinely focused on securing water and food supplies for China, or might it also be intended as a strategic leverage over neighboring countries with which China has ongoing disputes? To understand this better, we need to go back in time when this mega project was first initiated. Northern China has long been a center of population, industry, and agriculture, but as each has expanded rapidly, the region's already limited water resources have become increasingly strained. This growing demand has led to heavy reliance on groundwater, often prioritizing urban and industrial needs over agriculture, which has left rural communities facing severe water shortages. Excessive groundwater extraction has also caused land to sink and contributed to the frequent sandstorms that sweep across the region. In response to this escalating water crisis, Chairman Mao Zedong proposed a bold water diversion project in 1952, aiming to bring relief to Beijing, Tianjin, and the northern provinces of Hebei, Henan, and Shandong. This region houses 2/3 of the country's cropland, and 40% of its population only has access to about 14% of China's total water supply. This vision is said to have drawn inspiration from his favorite allegory. The story tells of an old man who set out to move a mountain that stood between his home and the lake, the source of water for his family. Although he knew he would never see the mountain moved in his lifetime, he believed that the work he began would be completed by generations to come. Reflecting this spirit, Mao once remarked, "The South has plenty of water, and the North lacks it, so if possible, why not borrow some?" From this simple yet powerful idea emerged the remarkable vision to build an infrastructure capable of channeling billions of cubic meters of water from the flood-prone rivers of the South to the parched northern plains of China. Over the years, as the demand for reliable, clean water continued to grow, China recognized that Mao's grand vision would need to become a reality. Thus, the South-North Water Diversion Project was conceived, not only to supply the vast water needs of the eastern regions, but also to ensure that the western and northern areas have the resources needed to sustain their expanding populations. It would take 50 years before construction on this ambitious project would begin. On August 23, 2002, after decades of research, planning, and debate, the project received final approval from the State Council. Work on the eastern route began that December, with construction on the central route following a year later. Now nearly complete, the South-North Water Transfer Project is a remarkable achievement, linking China's four major rivers, the Yangtze, Yellow, Huai, and Hai, and directing water through the three main routes. Spanning more than 1,200 kilometers, this gravity-driven canal is not just a remarkable engineering achievement, it's a groundbreaking testament to the power of human ingenuity and ambition. By harnessing natural gradients, it moves water efficiently, without the need for any mechanical pumps. Managing this system is no easy task. It's a monumental challenge shaped by the vast size of the basins, the extensive distances it spans, and the accelerating pressures of urbanization, industrialization, pollution, and population growth in China. The eastern route draws water from the lower Yangtze River, channeling it through canals to the North China Plain, covering provinces like Jiangsu, Anhui, Shandong, and the city of Tianjin. This route plays a critical role in supplying water for both agriculture and industry, while keeping the canal navigable year-round, boosting economic activity across northern China. The central route, which is considered as the core of the project, transports water from the Han River Reservoir in central China to heavily populated areas such as Hebei and Henan, including the major cities of Beijing and Tianjin. This route showcases remarkable engineering, relying entirely on gravity to carry water from source to destination. To ensure a steady water supply, China implemented an innovative solution by elevating the Danjiangkou Dam from 157 to 170 meters. Both the eastern and central routes traverse beneath the Yellow River. By 2017, the eastern route had extended to Tianjin, while the central route became largely operational in 2014, with further expansions still in progress. The western route remains the most ambitious and complex phase of the project, designed to supply water to China's arid northwest, including regions like Xinjiang and Qinghai. This route would redirect water over 500 kilometers from the Qinghai-Tibet Plateau, crossing the formidable Bayanhar Mountains. This route aims to replenish the Yellow River for the eastern route and provide essential water for agriculture, industry, and energy needs in the west. But even before construction broke ground for this route, the project was met with formidable challenges, not only in overcoming engineering hurdles, but also in grappling with potential environmental repercussions and the diplomatic tensions it stirred with neighboring nations. The project's most daunting challenge lies in its staggering cost. Even for a wealthy nation like China, the estimated $20 billion, possibly soaring to $81 billion for the two completed routes, has sparked serious concerns. While such a massive price tag is partly justified by the project's scale and bold ambitions, it represents an extraordinary investment that carries immense pressure to deliver impactful results. Partly funded by local governments, the project has raised financial concerns among regional officials, who are struggling to shoulder the steep costs. Some have even called for compensation due to the environmental measures they must implement to support the canals. For example, Hubei, which houses the dam for the central route, faces reduced revenue because the water diversion limits the water available for local industries, including mining, which relies on the region's mineral resources. Additionally, around 300,000 people from Hubei and neighboring provinces have been displaced, further hurting the local economy. The most pressing concern, however, is the project's environmental impact, which has even sparked cautious criticism within China. Building the canals could disrupt ecosystems, leading to problems like saltwater intrusion and habitat loss. It also risks damaging wetlands by reducing river flow and preventing the sediment deposits that are crucial for their formation, potentially drying out these areas. While the project aims to supply water to drought-stricken regions, diverting water from existing rivers could create shortages for other communities. In 2022, the Yangtze River, the source for the eastern route, faced an unprecedented drought that strained power supplies in several Chinese cities. The Yellow River, another key source for northern China, has similarly run dry each year since 1985, a problem that may only improve if the western route comes to fruition. Many smaller rivers, especially tributaries, have already dried up, with nearly half of China's 50,000 rivers vanishing over the past 2 decades. The remaining rivers are often polluted, causing major problems for smaller industrial regions and damaging the local environment. Plans for further industrialization along the project's routes pose a significant risk of pollution to the diverted water. To mitigate this threat, the Chinese government has allocated just over $80 million for treatment facilities in Jiangdu, Huai'an, Suqian, and Suzhou in eastern Jiangsu province. However, estimates suggest that the actual cost could be more than twice this amount. In total, approximately 260 projects have been initiated to reduce pollution and ensure that the water along the diversion routes meets the minimum standards for drinking water. On the other hand, proposals for the western route have stirred geopolitical tensions, particularly with India. Among China's options for advancing this project is the potential diversion of waters from Tibet's Brahmaputra River to Gansu, a prospect that India has long feared could trigger domestic water shortages. To some Indian scholars, China's resource ambitions and what they see as the potential weaponization of water have become a source of deep unease. But this fear may be somewhat overstated, as only about 7% of the Brahmaputra's flow originates in China. Even if China were to pursue drastic diversion measures, the impact on downstream water flow would likely remain limited. Ultimately, although this mega infrastructure is being seen as a great leap towards controlling nature, some experts have some growing concerns about the long-term sustainability of the South-North Water Transfer Project. Some pointed out the huge maintenance costs and the risk of pollution spreading through the canals, particularly in densely populated northern cities. Additionally, the two completed routes may offer only temporary relief, especially if China's population continues to grow. A population increase would raise demand for crops, which would require even more water, possibly leading to further expansions of the project. In other words, the long-term viability of this massive water diversion project is uncertain, and it remains unclear whether it can fully meet China's future water needs. Yet there's no denying that this one-of-a-kind structure stands as a striking testament to human ambition and progress. From Mao Zedong's early visionary plans to the awe-inspiring engineering triumphs of today, China has proven its unwavering determination to reshape nature on its own terms. China's massive megadams are another example of its thirst for ambitious infrastructure projects. But the Three Gorges Dam, the largest megadam on Earth, has ignited deep fears among experts. Many believe this towering structure could be edging toward disaster, with the scale of destruction it might unleash is almost impossible to fathom. Check out this next video to learn more about this.